Time now to talk business. I'm joined by Talk Business and Politics, Wes Brown and Steve Brawner. Gentlemen, welcome. Always good to be with you. Let's go first to Wes Brown and let's talk about the low unemployment rate that came out this past week, 4.8% in the month of December, the lowest it's been since June of 2001. How long does it stay this low?
I think we're getting to a point where I think about 4.6, 4.5 is about the lowest it can go, mainly because of the size of our labor pool. We have our labor pool is about 1.3 million,
right.
And so and there's only there's not a lot of space for additional workers to go. So I think it may get down to 4.7, 4.6, and then going back the other way. And the reason for that is to look at the national unemployment rate. It's held at 5% for 3 straight months, and I think that's kind of the sign that it's stabilizing. The labor pool is expanded about as much as it can, and I think, especially with some of the economic issues that are taking place in the labor pool, it's going to go starting back the other way.
Yeah. Steve, what's your take?
Well, that's generally considered pretty close to full employment. That last 4.5% is generally people considered who are moving around and they're not going to stay in the same job. Then again, we don't know how many people who are counted as being not in the unemployment ranks are actually unemployed. How many of them have just quit trying to find jobs, and how many are underemployed? So while this is pretty good news, and I don't want to be the guy that throws cold water on it, it's not quite as good as it sounds. Yeah, I just did.
But we have had some job growth in those numbers too over the last year. 38,000 new jobs added. The numbers could be worse, but we'll take them for where they are. All right, Steve, you reported this week on a potential expansion of the Razorback Stadium up at the University of Arkansas. We need more seats for football and a lot of other stuff too. $160 million expansion project. Does it come in over budget or under budget?
You know, the UA department is actually pretty good about budgetary issues. They tend to not go into too bad a debt. They're in much less debt than their competitors across the country. The question is, this is a lot of money for amenities versus seats. There's only about 3,200 new seats, but they're nice seats. And there's other things that are being done to try to kind of improve the experience. Another video board. Jeff Long, I talked to him yesterday. He said, they are competing with the flat screen TV. They have to make the experience as good as possible because it's, watching the game at home now is such a fun thing to do.
Right.
You got to make going to the stadium even better, and that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
Well, I think what you're seeing is now kind of the Jerry Jones effect with the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. What they're doing is trying to attract the wealthier person who will come and buy those luxury seats and come in, and they'll spend more. They'll come in and throw a party or something, bring some of their clients in, and I think that's what you're starting to see with not just Arkansas, but a lot of stadiums across the country. They want to get that customer in where there's once you get them in, and then they'll spend more, and you get more while that person comes to the game, not just watching the game, other experiences.
Former Senator David Pryor, who's on the UA Board of Trustees, actually raised some questions about that, and in an uncharacteristic way, we did not see a rubber stamp of a program like this.
And he abstained from the final vote, but he said that he was not necessarily against it, but he did have questions. He said, this will be the largest bond issue in the history of higher education in Arkansas. And while, the UA might be good about paying it off, if it doesn't, then the taxpayers are still on the hook for it. And he wanted to see what are the costs and what are the benefits and who will pay the costs. Will the students pay part of the costs? And who will benefit from this? So he's not completely on board yet.
$160 million, it will be over budget, I promise you it will be. They will find a way, but they'll fund it, but they'll find a way to make it bigger than $160 million. All right, Wes, let's turn our attention on energy issues to Southwestern Energy 2 weeks ago lays off 600 people. This is the big bust signal, if we didn't already have it,
right,
that the Fayetteville shale play is not booming anymore. And then this week, Murphy Oil, well, they lost money for the quarter and for the year in a pretty big way.
Right.
How unstable are the energy markets right now? Are they stable and just in terrible shape?
Well, I think when you look at the oil industry, for years it's always been cyclical. But the problem with this is that this sustained, there's so much energy pouring into market. OPEC countries are continuing to produce. U.S. companies are continuing to produce, even at this $30 a barrel. And until it comes to a point where some of these companies go out of business or stop producing, then we're not going to see that oil price. I think most of the analysts are saying that you won't see the oil price come up above $40 for the rest of 2016. So a lot of companies are writing off 2016 and saying, okay, let's wait to 2017, see that oil price and natural gas price tick back up. But until then, we're going to see a lot of pain.
Can we see some continued low prices at the gas pump?
Oh yeah, we're going to see that through probably until this year, until the end of March, and then we're going to see a slight uptick toward the summer driving season. But they won't get back up to those levels we saw over the last summer. It probably won't get back up over $2.30 for the rest of the year. It's supposed to come back down after the summer, so we're going to be sitting pretty good for a while.
All right, Steve, you also reported this week, it was part of the Board of Trustees meeting that you covered over at UAMS. So tour of UAMS, some discussion among UAMS officials. We need more money, is what they basically said. We've got some dilapidated services or buildings over there. How persuasive do you think their arguments are going to be to whomever?
Well, the board seemed persuaded. You know, it was an interesting juxtaposition that you had the UA Athletic Department saying we need $160 million to add some seats. And UAMS was saying we need $97 million because one of our buildings is completely uncompliant with code. We really can't use it. In fact, we have 3 buildings that are in pretty bad shape. 2 of them are in really bad shape. They need $97 million. They are not losing money at the moment, UAMS, but they do have some serious facilities needs. Many parts of the hospital look great and are new and gleaming, but there are some parts that are very old and really aren't very useful, and they need to do something with them.
All right, you think the legislature is going to listen?
Well, I mean, money doesn't grow on trees, so I don't know where it would come from.
It paves roads, Steve. It paves roads. That's where the money goes these days, the surplus, the rainy day fund, and everything else. So a challenge for the legislature, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we got to end it there. Wes Brown, Steve Brawner, appreciate you guys very much as always. Keep up the good reporting. You can check out their work each and every day at talkbusiness.net.